Okay, everyone, Oklahoma has landed a really nice commitment here in the 2025 class, and this is going to be their first cornerback commitment of the 2025 cycle. Now, here's the deal. Today, we got to talk about the 6-foot, 180-pound corner and what it means for this position for Oklahoma and how it's going to impact Oklahoma specifically in the recruiting class. I think how they handle recruiting their DBs going forward is going to be very interesting. Now, you got a commitment from Marcus Wimberly last week, so that was your first safety, and here you're going to get your first corner. But the Oklahoma Sooners, you get Malik Hawkins, and this is a really nice, in my opinion, under the radar, quiet pickup. Malik Hawkins is a guy that when you watch his film, which I'm going to show you here in a second, he's a guy that he's able to keep up with these receivers. He's able to jump the routes, and he really he wants to create those pass breakups. He doesn't want these wide receivers beating him. Now, 247 finally gives him the respect he deserves, gives him at least a 3-star. Dude's probably at best a 4-star, guys. Come on, let's admit it. Malik Hawkins is probably a 4-star kid, and you're going to see it here in his film. But he kind of was a crucial part to Frisco Emerson having as good of a season as they did, because he was one of those guys on that defense that was going to help anchor it. And as you can see here, as I show you guys his film, you're going to see exactly what I mean. Malik Hawkins does a good job at reading the play, staying with the receiver, jumping those routes, creating pass breakups. And I'm going to read you through his stats. You're going to see just how good of a player he is. 25 solo tackles, 33 total, and he's had 4 pass breakups. Malik Hawkins is a guy that you bring him in here with Valai. Yeah, the room's really deep, but I mean, you might get something out of him. And guys, he's not a 5'11", 5'10" corner that everybody hates. He's 6 foot, and he has potential room to grow, right? He's got a good frame. Now, here's the deal. This gives Oklahoma a 194.48 composite score. This is going to put Oklahoma still at number 6. You're not jumping USC, who's at number 5 just yet. And you guys will see why later, but just yet you're not jumping USC. But it gives Oklahoma their 12th commit in the class. And so this class is starting to get pretty full. And I'm going to leave the film up here so you guys can watch it while I talk about it. But this class is starting to get pretty full. And for corner, we were having this conversation with Jay and Coop the other day, and one of the conversations we was having was, well, who does Oklahoma take outside of Malik Hawkins, a corner? Like, obviously, Oklahoma feels like they're in a really good spot for Kobe Sellers, and in my opinion, I would imagine that commitment for Kobe Sellers is going to happen sooner rather than later. Then you had Cortland Guillory, I think I said that right, come on campus, and it seems like Oklahoma's in a mighty fine position there. And is Tristan Haynes a silent commit? Because that's what everybody's saying. And that's 4 corners. And you would imagine this is not a class where you would take 4 corners, especially with the depth that you have now. I want to break this down for you and help you understand it. Malik Hawkins is a true cornerback. Kobe Sellers is a true cornerback. When I look at Cortland Guillory and I look at Tristan Haynes, I look at both of them as guys who can be flex positions. They can play the safety, they can play the corner. If you're Oklahoma and you don't land Jonah Williams and you only get a Marion Robinson, essentially it's like taking 3 corners, 3 safeties. Because Tristan Haynes, a guy that's 6'2", 175 pounds, he can play on the offensive side of the ball, and he can play on the defensive side of the ball. And quite frankly, I think Tristan Haynes is a guy that you could easily see be moved to safety, maybe even play a little bit of that cheetah role where he drops back in coverage a little bit, right? Kind of like what you're going to see Peyton Bowen play sometimes. I think that's a possibility with Tristan Haynes. Then you look at Cortland Guillory, and I think Cortland Guillory, he could probably just be a safety, or he could be one of those guys that can play both positions, which we know in the NFL, that's what they like. That's going to be something that is able to get you drafted. So when I look at the situation right now, I don't say it's do or die for Oklahoma. I don't think it's and the reason why I say this is I said, hey, if you take Kobe Sellers, you're not taking Cortland Gullery. If you take Cortland Gullery, you're not taking Kobe Sellers. Maybe that's not the case. If Oklahoma feels like they're out of it for Jonah Williams, maybe you just take all of those guys and you figure it out, right? Get the talent on campus and let the talent. I mean, you know what? Maybe somebody that's currently there gets processed out because you brought in 4 really strong dudes and maybe the other guy there just doesn't want to compete. Maybe that happens. So if you're Oklahoma, I really, really like this pickup of Malik Hawkins, and I want to hear from y'all. So make sure you're joining the discussion, jumping down in the comments below, and giving me your thoughts on the most recent commitment.